GM has just leaked its brand new V8 for the 2026 Chevrolet Silverado 1500, and truck fans are stunned. But here's the twist. After pouring $888 million into this beast, there's a real chance the EPA might ban it before it even hits the streets. Is this the V8 comeback we've all been waiting for, or the start of a brutal showdown between old-school power and modern regulations? GM dropped $800 million, tearing into steel, sweat, and legacy to build the most ambitious V8 they've attempted in decades. An entire engine plant in Tonawanda, New York, ripped apart and rebuilt from the studs up. This wasn't a tune-up, but rather a total mechanical rebirth. They didn't recycle old parts. They fired the old blueprints, brought in fresh talent, and told them, start from zero and don't screw it up this time. What came out of that pressure cooker? A brand new small block V8 for the 2026 Chevrolet Silverado 1500, engineered not just to run, but to redeem an entire generation of mistakes. Because let's be honest, GM needed this, badly. After years of lifter failures, jerky transmissions, and fan loyalty dropping like a rock, this was more than an engine. It was a shot at redemption, a second chance to earn back the people who made Silverado a household name. And for a moment, it worked. Truck fans were fired up. The factory floor was buzzing. Over 870 jobs secured. Engineers proud again. Dealerships hopeful. This wasn't just metal and bolts. This was a heartbeat. The V8 was back. Or at least, it was supposed to be. Let's rewind a bit. If you've driven or suffered through the last generation Silverado, you know how bad things got. The 5.3-liter and 6.2-liter V8s were mechanical nightmares. The lifter failures alone, catastrophic. Trucks were dying before hitting 30,000 miles. Loyal owners were left stranded with dead engines and four-figure repair bills. That's not just bad luck, that's broken trust. Then came the so-called fuel-saving tech. AFM-DFM fancy, names for cylinder shutoff systems that promised better mileage, but delivered jerky throttle response and, surprise, more lifter failures. Drivers didn't upgrade their trucks. They upgraded their tuners just to shut that garbage off. The tech made the trucks feel fragile. Even the transmissions weren't immune. The 8 and 10-speed gearboxes never felt quite right. Too jumpy, too clunky. Especially in stop-and-go traffic, they just didn't behave like a full-size truck should. It felt like GM's whole powertrain department forgot who their customers were. So when GM's new V8 plans leaked, it didn't just spark interest, it lit a fire. If you're still with us, make sure to hit that subscribe button to help us delivering value to you guys. This engine isn't a patch job, it's a complete reset. A clean sheet small block V8 with zero parts carried over from the old powertrain disasters. Designed, tested, and built at the Tonawanda plant in Buffalo, New York, aka Ground Zero for GM's $888 million comeback plan. It's more than just aluminum and horsepower. This engine is saving jobs. 870 workers now have job security, including 177 who were staring down layoffs. It's not just an engine, it's a second chance for a lot of people. What's different this time? For starters, the valve train has been totally redesigned. Stronger components, smarter lubrication, no more ticking time bombs. GM's trying to kill the lifter failure problem once and for all. And word on the street? They might offer certain trims without any cylinder deactivation. No AFM, no DFM, just raw V8 power all the time. That's music to every old-school truck guy's ears. But it's not just brute force. GM is also pushing efficiency, smart thermal management, better fuel economy under load, and smarter pairing with the transmission. They've promised software and maybe even hardware tweaks to finally smooth out the shifting that plagued the previous 10-speed. No more gear hunting, no more guessing games in stop-and-go traffic. Everything sounds perfect, right? Yeah, not so fast. But now we hit the wall. The one word no automaker likes to hear: EPA. While GM is bringing back big V8 energy, the government is bringing down the hammer on CO2 limits. The rules are getting tighter, not just for fuel economy, but for total fleet emissions. And this new V8? It's not officially certified yet. That's the scary part. If GM doesn't get this engine to pass the EPA's 2026 targets, it might be delayed, heavily restricted, or even canceled before it ever hits production. Nobody's going to say it's banned, but that's how this works. Death by red tape, quietly priced out of existence. or shelved behind a marketing wall of EV promises. And here's the kicker. As of right now, this engine isn't EPA certified. That's not a small issue. That's a big red warning light on the dash. If it can't meet 2026 standards in time, GM either has to delay it to 2027 or shelve it entirely. Quietly, silently, without fanfare. That's how it happens. One press release about EV strategy, and boom, the V8 is dead before it ever hits the streets. Let's talk rumors. There's chatter that internal testing is still behind schedule, especially when it comes to EPA compliance. General Motors hasn't made the emission certification public, and that's usually a red flag. Insiders are starting to murmur that the launch could slip to 2027, or brace yourself, get quietly shelved altogether. And if that sounds dramatic, remember, diesel engines are already fading fast. GM killed the 2.8-liter Duramax. Ford scaled back their Power Stroke lineup. Even Ram's talking about dropping diesel options entirely. So ask yourself, is the V8 next? The internet's already buzzing with one terrifying headline. Did GM really just spend $888 million on an engine that might never ship? That's the nightmare scenario. So why is GM still going all in on V8s when the rest of the industry is running for the hybrid hills? Well, take a look around. Ford is now hybrid heavy. Between the EcoBoost turbos, the F-150 Lightning, and the PowerBoost hybrids, they're clearly steering toward electrification. But not without hiccups. Some owners are already complaining about turbo lag, battery glitches, and, yep, reliability issues. Toyota? They straight up killed the legendary 5.7-liter V8 in the Tundra and went all in on a twin-turbo V6 hybrid. Big gamble, and it's not paying off. There have been over 100,000 recalls already. Complaints about oil leaks, turbo lag, and software bugs are flooding in. And that magical hybrid resale value? Not holding up. Ram? They're flirting with 6-cylinder options in the next-gen trucks. Solid? Maybe? Exciting? Not exactly. It's starting to feel like the V8 is getting pushed out across the board. But here's where GM plants their flag. Real trucks need real engines. They're going for emotion over efficiency, for the feel, the sound, the legacy. A Silverado that still growls when you stomp on it, that still pulls with confidence, that still feels like a truck. GM's the last one standing on V8 ground, and they know it. That's why this matters. They're not trying to win an efficiency war. They're trying to win hearts. Because for real truck people, it's not just about MPG. It's about torquey you can feel, sound that gives you goosebumps, and an engine that pulls without excuses. If GM nails this, the 2026 Silverado could be the last full-size truck on the market with a real, naturally aspirated, honest-to-God V8. Not for nostalgia, for necessity. Because there's still a massive chunk of the market that doesn't want a quiet EV. They want a truck that growls. But if the EPA says no, this engine could become one of the most expensive museum pieces GM's ever built. This new V8 matters more than people realize. Yeah, it's got torque. Yeah, it tows. But the real value? Trust, simplicity, that gut punch of raw power when you step on the gas and the truck growls back like it means it. For truck guys, it's not about miles per gallon. It's about miles per memory, the sound, the feel, the sense that your truck won't fold under pressure. That's what a good V8 gives you. And right now, GM's the last one standing with the guts to keep that alive. Because let's be honest, without this engine, Silverado's staring down a future of turbo hybrid buzz and silent EVs. Ram's already teasing inline sixes. Toyota axed their legendary 5.7-liter, and look how that turned out. If this V8 doesn't show up, Silverado risks losing the one thing that made it a Silverado in the first place. Best case? GM clears the emissions maze, the truck hits the lots in 2026, and fans come pouring back. Middle case? It's delayed, but we still get something close. Worst case? It's shelved. Quietly. No fanfare. No V8 goodbye. And that's the real heartbreak. Because if this is the last great American truck engine, then let it roar before it dies. So what do you think? Should GM fight to save this V8 or follow the herd and plug everything in? Hit that like button and subscribe for more unfiltered truck talk.